Hello everybody, I'm Catriona Morten, I'm a sensomotor psychotherapist, and today I'd like to talk to you about catastrophizing, having catastrophic thoughts about everything. Before I begin, if you're enjoying these videos, then can you give us a like and subscribe to our channel, because it really helps us get our message out there and to help more people. We're not born catastrophizing. Again, it's an environmental thing. And it can be from a couple of different things. If we've had a really over-anxious parent, a parent that's good at catastrophizing, then when we're about to do anything, if the parent is always pointing out all the pitfalls, constantly worrying about all the things that could go wrong, then we learn to do that. We learn to take the simplest of things and go down 100 different channels of all the things that could go wrong. And it just becomes a way of life for us, but it can be very debilitating. We also catastrophize. Sometimes if something has gone really badly wrong out of the blue, we've had an accident or a sudden bereavement or death, then it can give us a sense of this awful impending doom that's out there, that we can't trust anything, that we have to be, prepared for the worst all the time. And your head will give you all the worst case scenarios that can happen. For some people, when they've grown up and they haven't really had any parent that's had their back, that it's always been left up to them to manage everything, to do everything, that they've always felt very alone and isolated, that the cavalry's not going to come and save them, then we learn how to do that for ourselves. If we have to do that from a young age, then the world seems like a really big, scary place. And we might have a list of things that we always have to have with us. We won't leave home without our phone, or we've got to know where there's the nearest toilet, or we've got to know that we've always got a drink with us, or we worry about when we're going to get food next. So it can be very simple things like that, but that are just there all the time. And often people who catastrophize an awful lot, when they think about going to do something, and they think of all the things that could go wrong, the worst case scenario. One is, it can be a maddening place in your head. It's like really hard to switch that thinking off. But also, it can put us off doing an awful lot of things, because those fears then become very real things that might happen. And for the people who catastrophize, it's too much to take, because it's not just in the head. Their whole body feels unsafe. They can be very easily panicked. They don't have a great deal of trust in themselves to be able to manage things, to keep themselves safe, to be able to problem solve if something goes wrong. And so they'll not do things more often than do things. If we allow the catastrophizing to rule our life, then we're going to shrink our world. We're going to be doing less and less things. We'll want to do them, but it just feels like too big a risk. There's too many things that could go wrong. It's too anxiety provoking. The people who are catastrophizing, one, they're never going to have a real sense of safety, because even sitting here, do you feel completely 100% safe? Usually the answer is no, because they've got a list of things that could happen. And so you can see just by talking about it that the catastrophizers are not living in the present moment. They're not really taking in what is actually happening in the moment, always on to the next thing. For a lot of people that have this, it's not just external things, it's internal things. And so very often when someone who catastrophizes feels something in the body, bodies do a lot of different things. They'll often immediately go into, oh my God, what's wrong? What's wrong? And I've known people have all kinds of tests done for the heart, for the brain, because they're absolutely convinced that there's something wrong with them. That same sense of impending doom applies to themselves and their own health, as well as what happens on the outside. So it's quite a kind of tortured place to be. It's not a relaxing state. It's not a place that allows you to just be in the moment and enjoy what's happening, if we're always second guessing what's coming next and making that a bigger issue than what's happening in the present moment. often when I'm working with people like that, what I'll realise is they're taking in very little of their environment. They're not really able to just settle and be. Their curiosity will be kind of turned off because it's almost as though they can't afford to do that because they have to be ready for the awful thing that's about to happen. And, you know, life is really unpredictable and throws things at us. And if we're going to just, you know, live our life dreading those things and not doing things because of that, then we're going to end up doing very little and enjoying very little of what we're doing. And so for those people, what we have to do is, one, understanding why they're doing that, where that's come from, but also to be able to make the present moment accessible and safe and build it up. I don't expect somebody to go from 0 to 100. It's a process. I often describe things as a relearning. We have to learn to be a different way. We have to be able to, one, turn on our curiosity, and we can practice that. You know, we can practice picking an object, looking at an object. I'm looking at a big candle holder thing over there. It's like, what's it made of? What are the different patterns of it? I wonder where it came from. Looking at the different shapes and shadows of it, and really trying to hone your curiosity into, do I like that? What is it I like about that? Is it the shape? Is it the texture? Just spending a bit of time with things in the present moment. Using our senses is really good. Smells, tastes, really allowing ourselves that present moment experience. You know, when I'm going to drink a cup of tea, I'm going to notice things about the tea that I like. The cup that it's in, the strength of the tea, the taste of the tea, and just the sensory experience of drinking it. So we can use things in our environment to kind of hone that present moment experience. But the other thing that those people are missing is a sense of themselves and a trust in themselves. And so we have to be able to get access to our body in a very safe way, give ourselves something that we can notice. Often with people who catastrophize, subtle things don't work so well. So we have to have a bit of a bigger experience. So things like chi energy is really good, because when we create chi energy, so we can rub our hands together, get some friction and some warmth going and some tingling. And when we do that and then we stop, we can feel the tingling. It gives a present moment experience that we can feel, we can be curious about. We can do the same if we rub our legs or our arms, to just start really waking up the senses. Strength can be a good thing. And again, bigger is usually better. So if you stand up and really push your hands into the wall and really give yourself a full kind of push and a strength throughout your body, it can, one, give you that feeling of connecting to something that feels safe and solid, a solid wall, a solid floor. For people who are always feeling unsafe and wobbly, that can be a really good grounding thing for them. One, they're engaging with their body, they can feel the push, but also it gives that innate sense of safety, security and strength. And what I encourage people to do is do consistent things, because, you know, catastrophizing means that nothing's consistent or safe. So having routines, just having a few things that you're going to do every day, either, you know, using your curiosity, using your senses, smelling some aromatic oils, tasting some things, waking those things up and just doing a little set routine of things every day, doing your strength pushing, doing your chi energy, so that you're reawakening and you're learning to be curious and to be much more in the present moment experience. When all your awareness is into something else that you're feeling, then your head can't do the overthinking, the catastrophizing all the time. And when we understand what it is we're doing and why we're doing it, then again, when we can give ourselves a break from it, it allows us to bring that observer on to go, okay, I know what I'm doing. I am actually okay in the moment. I am breathing. Not judging how you're breathing, but you're not blue. You're breathing as well as your body needs to breathe. And learning to get some trust in what's actually there and some acceptance of that real moment experience. If we hold our breath for 15 seconds and then feel the big out breath, it will be the same every time. And it builds that connection with ourselves, that present moment experience and that consistency. Your body's always going to do that consistent thing. And so it just helps kind of come away from out there and just into here a lot more. And of course, regulating. When we can feel that anxiety, noticing where in our body we're feeling the anxiety, what's happening to make us feel anxious, and what can we do to alleviate that. If our chest's gone really, really tight, then if we apply a bit of pressure, hold it, and then release it. Does it help that pressure release? Does it help just to make contact with that place? Does it help to breathe into it? Does it help to elongate the out breath? If we elongate the out breath and maybe count to 6 or 7 when we're breathing out and do that a few times, it kicks in our parasympathetic and it gives us something to do in that present moment that's within our control and it's consistent. So we're adding all of these things in until we can get a little package of things for ourselves that works. It's taking us in the direction we want to go and not in the chaotic place that we've always been. And we just keep doing them and doing them. And the more we do it, the more second nature it becomes. So if this is the kind of go-to thing, then we make this our procedural thing. And it just becomes more and more a way of life and gives us a bit more trust in ourselves and a sense of control. So I hope that's been helpful, useful, makes sense. If it has, then give us a like, subscribe to our channel, and I'll look forward to seeing you all again very soon. Bye!